the air. So please, if you are not a judge, keep yourself muted unless you are presenting your particular build. Everybody who is presenting a build will have a chance to either talk or type about it. Judges obviously can jump in anytime asking questions. A quick update. We were hoping to have Pepper, Brent's fantastic and hilarious wife, join us, but she regrettably couldn't make it. So our judges are going to be Manu and Brent, with me assisting if there's some sort of tie that needs to be broken in some way. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to post a couple of links once we get the stream fully active. The YouTube stream sometimes takes a few seconds to heat up. I don't know. You would think they would keep those servers nice and toasty, but it can take a minute. So we are getting both of our streams set up. Welcome to everybody who's watching out in the broader internet via Twitch and YouTube, and welcome to everybody who's joining via the Discord chat. Our participants in the event will be hanging out in the Discord call, so they'll hear me live. They don't have that 15-second delay. And we are just getting everything all spun up and ready to go with YouTube. And there we are with that. Okay. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to post a couple of links in the YouTube and Twitch chats introducing our guests more formally. We have Manu Smith, a.k.a. Mystery Pinball Theater 3000, who does all sorts of fantastic envelope-pushing work on Twitch. Here is Manu's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MPT3K. And Manu also does some DJ stuff. Welcome, Manu.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be here.
You judged our last major 3-month-long build contest, and I'm glad to have you back for this one. Any thoughts before we get started?
No, I'm excited to see. I like the format, what you have planned, the yin and the yang kind of stuff going on. It should be interesting.
I'm hoping so. And then our second judge is Brent M. Bowen, who also is a live streamer at twitch.tv/homegrownbdub. It's easy to remember because it's just think we got B-dubs at home. And he is also a 3D animator who works on a little television program you might have heard of called The Simpsons. Brent, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
These folks were also the judges for last... Sorry.
Yeah, please don't unmute. I think you're talking to somebody in your room. Yeah, if you're not showcasing your build, please stay muted if you're not a judge. Yeah, Brent M. Bowen and MPT3K were both our judges for the last 3-month build contest. Every time we reset the server, I like to kick it off with a 3-month build contest where our participants get to build some sort of crazy set of towns or outposts or something, with the idea being that these outposts will then become the stages for our parade float build contest later. I'm realizing, I'm like, why can't I not fly forward? I had bound that to my foot pedal instead of the keyboard. So now W should work again. Yes, it does not work. I'm super prepared for this. One moment, y'all. Okay. Sorry. That is now reset. Perfect. I was flying around so that I could pre-cache the world. This is a gigantic server, and so I wanted to make sure that everything was pre-cached right before we got started. So we have done that. Let me talk real quick about the format. Our participants have been tasked with building not just one outpost as a team each, but also pairing with an additional team that will counterbalance the theme of their build with some sort of plaza between them. And so the teams will be judged partially on their individual team contribution and partially on how the two teams balance each other out. And, I've talked to the judges about this. There's not a strict rubric for this. A lot of this is just going to be vibes. People are making art. So we've brought in folks who have backgrounds in visual and video design, production, and art. So even if, we don't have a fancy rubric, I trust Manu and Brent to be able to look at something and get it if it's good, or, maybe see if there's room for improvement. So we should be ready to go. Is there a particular team that would like to open our contest? Okay, I'm just going to start teleporting.
This is Moon Roses. You are nearest both the flagship Mercantile and Shroomy Hollow and the Great Scales.
Okay. Well, so let's, Moon Roses, it looks like you're on the Great Scales / Shroomy Hollow. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what we are looking at here?
So our initial concept was to play off of Sleepy Hollow with mushrooms and such. We've kind of deviated from that, though, in just going with the large mushrooms, especially when we decide to pair up with the flagship Mercantile. So our theme is large overgrowth. We still have a lot of terraforming to do, as well as getting in more big mushrooms. But essentially, you're looking at what happens when overgrowth becomes too much. I believe Quill wrote something for me to read as well. Quill's voice is not doing good, so I'll quickly read that as well.
Go for it.
It's loosely based on the pun for Sleepy Hollow. We changed our original concept when Emerald Chain, or the flagship Mercantile, reached out to us for collaboration. So it's shifted from like Spooky Harvest, which would have been like the Sleepy Hollow part, to more of Stoic Commentary, which is, to simplify the concept down almost to the point of uselessness, is basically the conservation of mass. Everything in the island feeds itself. The farm, the solar terrarium provides food for us, but also bone meal for the fungus farms, the tree and stem farms respectively. If the Emerald Chain is about unsustainable growth and sales, then Shroomy Hollow is about self-perpetuating ecosystem. The growth of one feeds the rest. The rot and fungi that blooms from the excess growth becomes fuel for new growth. Ad infinitum.
Very cool. Okay, so this is, so if you had to boil down your theme in counterbalance to your opposite, you would say
Overgrowth.
Overgrowth. Overgrowth and overproduction. Okay, and then why don't we go ahead and have whoever's opposite you present their outpost, and then we'll talk about the plaza last. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so who are we talking to about the other side here?
Hey Joe, that would be me. I put coordinates in chat for us to teleport to.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way for me to copy and paste those, so luckily I can at least look at them. Okay. And so when you say, real quick, when you introduce yourself, for the benefit of the people at home on Twitch and YouTube, instead of saying this is me, say, hi, this is your name. Ooh.
Hi, I am OpenBag2, and I am the Emerald Chain's director and representative on the server. The Emerald Chain is a traders alliance established to get resources from where they're abundant to where they're needed most. We provide jobs for underprivileged villagers without regard to their criminal or zombificated history. We help out new server members and provide them the means to work through their indenture terms. And we employ the most advanced technologies to extract the maximum efficiency out of our farms, all in the name of providing the server with the resources it needs in order to weather the Everstorm. While we have multiple facilities spread throughout the server, the flagship Mercantile here is our crown jewel. It's a chunk of reclaimed land taken from the sea and transformed into a shining a shining beacon on this hill. So if we walk in.
Okay, where are you?
So just climb up the hill and go into the main entrance. You'll see a big sign that says Flagship Mercantile. There's a little there's a little sign here with a line of poetry taken from an unknown Earth poet that kind of explains our theme. We bear this chain we forged with life to remind us that humanity is our business.
Okay.
And then as you walk on through, there are a pair of elevators that you can take up and into the facility.
Okay, I see that. You got some sort of bone xylophone thing going on here, too.
Yep, I'm going to turn that off.
So you have a little bit of a
thanks, Lonnie.
promenade here.
Yep. So this is our highlight to commerce. We have some shops in here already. There will be more. We have a clothing store at one end as an anchor store. We have a pickle shop. And at the other end, we have Barnes Ignoble, our music store / bookstore. Sadly, and we've got a coffee shop. And then in here, we've got our restaurant / bar, grill, gaming, and arcade. You can harvest some snowballs. You can harvest some snowballs and play a game of darts, or you can order yourself something from the bar. We've got a bartender here, and Morn, our regular bar patron. And if you'd like to go up the stairs with me, we also offer the finest holodecks on the server. So you can just hop into one of these rooms.
Yeah, that's sure something.
And you can play whatever program you've got in store for yourself. Anyway, above here, there is a conference floor that is also going to be the concourses to the additional facilities we are building. We'll be building a hotel and a university. Education is important, and we absolutely believe in advancing technologies from every place we can. Topmost floor is executive suites. And then below that are employee suites where people can do projects. For instance, with the upcoming update, we're going to have trumpet sounds, and it feels very appropriate to add the Deep Space Nine theme playing throughout this mall. Also, if you can either take the south elevator to the top or just free cam. I'm going to just free cam up there.
Yeah, I'm free camming. Just for reference for the viewers at home and for our judges, a server like this, we started this 3 months ago. So everything here has been built in the last 3 months. It is not unexpected that there will be open spaces in the builds or parts of these that are unfinished, because the idea is that these outposts are going to last the players the entire 18 to 24 months that a server like this might run for. And so, they're not being judged for 100% completion of everything, because then what would they do with the rest of their time on the server? This is just establishing a solid place to host future events. And yeah, thank you, OpenBag, too. If you want to continue, sorry.
Yep. I'm almost done with my spiel. One of the pieces of technology we have here was developed by the YouTuber Dan Craft Hero. This is a Waystone teleport machine, which is really kind of magical. I just break one of these lodestones, and I can travel anywhere in the overworld instantly.
Very cool. And it has to be to somewhere that you've already established a waystone, right?
That's correct. But actually, it could be anywhere that I have just put down a waystone. So yeah, I am now at my main base, outpost 6-7, which is about 8,000 kilometers away, or meters away. Excuse me.
Yeah, I teleported to you just to give people an idea of how far he traveled instantaneously. I think that the scales were out that way. Yeah, the scales are almost out of render distance, or whatnot there. So yeah, that's pretty snappy. Okay. So in terms of the format for this, I figure what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you and your opposite team representative present your plaza together, and then the judges will ask questions about both builds and the plaza. So, which one of you would like to take the lead on presenting the plaza here between the two?
We're actually going to turn that over to Swanee, who has registered the scales as its own independent outpost as well, but it's also our plaza.
Okay.
And is designed primarily to function in that way. So, Swanee, you've got it.
Hello, I'm Swanee. I will be your engineer this evening. So we started with a slightly unusual concept, almost to reject the idea that balance had to be found between two things in a binary sort of solution, looking at balance and compromise being something that is worked on together, and work is required to find true balance in things. Talking about the design of this structure, the main scales part is inspired by the Fourth Rail Bridge in the UK, which is one of the first large-scale bridges constructed in the world and had to be built symmetrically at all times to ensure that it was balanced and it didn't fall over into the river. Looking down below, we have a fortress is inspired by the commune in Mont Saint-Michel in France, which is a unique structure in the fact that, in spite of being a fortress-like structure, it was actually designed for religious purposes, and having tiers typically suggests social striation, but actually doesn't in Mont Saint-Michel. Finally, the buildings are inspired by the very popular Scottish children's TV show Balamory. Nothing that exciting. I just wanted it to look like Rainbow Skittles, so it does.
Fair enough. Okay, so just as a quick clarification for anybody watching at home, the plan was to have two outposts with a plaza in between them. We didn't expect anybody to make an outpost that was a plaza, so we'll have to, figure out how to judge that later. I thought when we had an odd number that one of the outposts was just going to be countered by a ghost outpost. So, yeah, we're starting off with the weird one, apparently.
We are. We also have, so you can zoom up and see that the road deck is a compliant road deck, but it's at an unusual and inconvenient angle.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunately how this was. If you zoom down into the middle of the scales, though, you can actually visit our true plaza, which is the balance point between Shroomy Hollow and the Emerald Chain.
So where is that, all the way down here?
Yes. So you have two layers. The first, where you're seeing magenta there, is the portal room.
Mm-hmm.
And then directly below that, you can visit the actual spawn room we built.
Okay.
It's down until you see a quartz roof and a green floor.
Oh, all the way down here.
Oh,
wait, am
not
I
all the way down there. There.
Gotcha. Okay, so this would be where people spawn.
Yes, on
when
that
y'all are hosting
nice
things.
stone plinth. We have all the lovely people who helped build all these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a significant team effort from a large number of people over many months.
Very cool. Very impressive. So I was going to ask our judges if they had any questions or comments about any of the two builds we've seen, but we've got three teams apparently. So judges, anything that you want to jump in? Brent, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm curious. This is just a question for everybody here. Like, when you guys work as a team, do you guys start with a concept? Do you guys draw out plans and then you kind of like divide and conquer, or do you guys just kind of build together, and just kind of, work together as you build? You know what I'm trying to like. Do you guys really have like a thought out drawing of a plan before you guys attack these builds?
Yeah, so I can speak to Emerald Chain and Shroomy Hollow. Once we decided on our collaboration, we actually set up a shared Discord among all of us, where we shared kind of mood boards and ideas for what we wanted to build, and talked about how we would handle the collaboration and blending of the themes in the scales. So a lot of it was there. Then we roughed out some rough designs in using Axiom, which is a creative tool. And oftentimes then we went and built things. Oftentimes then we went and built things collaboratively, all working from the same blueprint, or each designed our own part and then designed individual details organically. Anyone else want to add anything?
That's most of what I wanted to say. But so the scales themselves were almost entirely done in Axiom and then built using Litematica. I believe that's similarly true of the Emerald Chain. The folks over at Shroomy Hollow have done an amazing job of doing this the old-fashioned conventional way without any Axiom or Litematica. How they've managed that, I can't say.
So yeah, Shroomy Hollow did a lot more by hand. The only thing that, because we, very vibes based. We basically went off of this same disc that was provided Litematica wise, with like doing the ring, to be able to connect to the scales themselves. But yeah, other than using a Litematica to know what Y level the road should be at, we had a lot more hands on deck too, I feel. So we just vibes it. I'm not sure.
How many people were on the
Myself.
Shroomy Hollow build team, just out of curiosity?
So myself, Moonroses, Quill Lava Bucket, Amanita, Joju, as well as Calico. Yeah, that sounds about right. We all pitched in throughout. I know that Amanita was doing a lot more of the shrooms. Quilava and I were working on terraforming, as well as these big glass bell jars. Calico has been a great help with like gathering huge amounts of resources, both for the central plaza and for the like disc itself. In fact, there's still so much to do. We were planning to have a small community event of like, hey, anybody who wants to help build mushrooms, we'll have a little area set aside for people to build mushrooms in, and maybe give out some participation prize or something.
Very cool.
So Joe, the competition was like two groups that build the opposites, right? So like fire and ice, you were saying.
Yeah, that was the
Like that.
example I gave.
Right. So what was their inspiration for the opposites for this build? I guess would be my next question.
So, Shroomy Hollow. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was, my interpretation was that the Emerald Chain is very capitalistic and Shroomy Hollow's very communistic, I guess. As far as abundance and overgrowth, or like bleeding resources dry and consuming.
So these plains outside of here that are bled dry would be an example of that thematically?
Bingo, you got it. And you can actually see there's an extractor there that's pulling resources out of the terrain in order to build the paradise that we've got.
Very cool. One clarification before we move on to questions from Manu. So Litematica and Axiom. When people are building on this server, this is a survival Minecraft server, so people have to harvest every block that they place. There is a creative mode in Minecraft that people can run on their own computers or a separate server where they can brainstorm using a tool called Axiom that lets them make shapes faster and fill in textures faster, that sort of thing. And then Litematica is a blueprinting tool that lets them kind of create an overlay when they come back to the survival server, so they can take the blueprints that they designed in creative mode and try to implement them here. But yeah, that was the entire clarification. Manu, any thoughts, questions, concerns?
Yeah, thanks for that clarification, because my question was going to be, how not being a builder myself and not understanding what Axiom and Mathematica and all that stuff, like how much do you want us to play in the importance of how the build, how, you know, like build versus creativity, right? Because I'm looking at it right now, and I'm glad you're doing the fly through right now, because it's like they took the literal scale and balanced the two places, and I'm like, okay, I need to see some other places to see how they did it. But
Yeah.
also, is it how much should we consider the build process? Because Brent and I don't know the build process, and I'm not sure if that's important to some people who don't have access to certain things like Axiom and all other stuff. So,
Well, these tools are basically available for free to anybody who wants them. It's more of a personal preference. Like some people might like to sketch things out on paper, and some people might not. You know what I mean? Um, so there's not really that doesn't have to be a determinant. In
and I don't
this.
think it can be, because we wouldn't wrap our heads around it anyway.
Yeah, I'm bringing you guys in more to look at what the results are. And like I said, this is very
Yeah.
vibes based. If you're looking at something and you're like, this feels like a machine did it, not a person, maybe that means that folks lean too hard into the geometric tools in something like Mathematica or Axiom. But, you know, it's kind of up to you. You know what I mean?
What's interesting to me is like there's, I don't want to give a critique on these yet, because I know we have to move on, but there's a organic level on one side of this scale, and there's like a more industrial thing on the other side of the scale. If I can read into it, I don't know if that's intentional, but
Well, hopefully it is,
Okay.
because that's part of what they're trying to communicate.
Yeah, what I'll just say is that Axiom is really at its best when it's just done to create the general outlines and kind of help you mock out what you're doing. Like as we've talked about, all the resources here are harvested by hand, and when you're talking about something like that, you need 10,000 blocks of quartz, you want to make sure that the end result is going to at least have the right shape before you realize, oh no, I needed 12,000, and so now I've got to stop what I'm doing and budget more time to grinding away at this farm.
And I will say that one of the reasons I bring in people who are not Minecraft insiders for these events is so that the participants in these contests don't get too in their own heads about methodology and try to do something like the hardest way possible in Minecraft. Because if they're trying to impress you by doing something the hardest possible way in Minecraft, it's going to go over your heads. I want people to focus on just the creative process, not the grind. You know what I mean?
%100% for me. That makes sense.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, well, these are 3 fantastic entries: Shroomy Hollow, Flagship Mercantile, and the Great Scale. Thank you, all 3. Let's see. I'm not sure who we are nearest to from here, if I wanted to just fly over. If we just start heading this way, I'm sure we'll eventually hit somebody's base. But yeah, feel free to jump in the text chat. I think we're near Mantua Maker.
Yes, that's me right there.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what we're looking at?
Sure, if you want to teleport us all over there when you get to a safe spot.
Yeah, where would you like me to teleport people into? One of the buildings, the road?
Right to the road there.
Okay.
So I have named this outpost off of the land of elves. So I am looking at a ancient elven forest is where I am going, and the elves, due to the storm, have decided to protect nature as much as they can by erecting tall towers with copper rods at the top to direct the storm and not have the trees harmed or having danger horses around the skeleton horses. So starting with the road, went for a rather geometric pattern. I planned in creative, but had to do a lot of it here because I was going by the terrain. a lot of the build has been based on following the train, listening to it, respecting the nature and all. That's the whole vibe of the
Okay.
place. There's a few spots because I'm doing a lot of detail work, so I've created a few spots to look at. One you're near now is the small village. This is actually a vanilla village that I have reworked all the buildings to go in the build style of the Elven Forest. So sort of Lord of the Rings and a little bit of Scandinavian ideal going on.
And what would you call this build? Sorry, what was the name for it?
Alfheim.
Okay, let me type that in for our judges. Alfheim. There we go.
Thank you.
So if you go inside the big building, that's another one of the special places to go to. This is the prototype tree. All the other trees are in some way based off of this tree. So it is extra protected in this domed building. The sort of based on a tree of light, so inside all the leaves are lights, so that it is all bright in the whole area and the building is made to say, look at the tree, really. So big building, protect the tree, and have the look. Now, if you go, there's the big bridge that has the next thing for protecting is the big wall that goes all the way around the future forest here. And to focus on the patterns, I found a cool pattern staggering the gates and fences that creates a bit of the whole feel in that way that we're going. And then let me get over. If you see the big door, Joe,
Yes.
right by the big door, if you look, let's see if I can move and talk at the same time. Right down this way, you can see the future as it is going to be, which is all trees that I'm building and a bunch of plants and stuff. The firefly bushes are the heavy lifter here, giving that very enchanted feel as you move around. And then up at the top, there's a big tree. And this one is the big special tree, and it has some buildings in it, and there's going to be a few more offshoots from that. Now, by the trunk, sort of where Alpaca and I are, there's a pressure plate. If you go in, it's sort of the last area of the place is the keep. So if the walls and all become a castle, this would be the keep, protecting the plants even more, and more of the patterns that show up here. And these are the kind of jumping ahead to the plaza, but some of the blocks in the plaza come straight from this room. But that is kind of the majority of it, since can only get so much done during winter. So yeah.
That's fair. This is really impressive for 3 months. Very large scale build. So it stretches all the way from this walled area back there to the road. And could you tell us who your opposite is so we can go
That
visit
is
them?
Gaia.
Gaia, are you hopping on voice or are you using text? I can see Gaia. Typing very intently, presumably. Or AFK.
If they typed it, would you be able to like read it?
It would show up on screen in the screen share.
Oh, in the screen share. Okay.
Discord issue, one moment. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm just going to fly back and quickly review Mantua Maker's area. We've got this fantastically textured geometric road, which is very Peter Jackson Tolkien-esque.
Can you hear me now?
So I can hear you now, Gaia. Oh, well, I could briefly.
I think.
Are you pushing to talk? You're also welcome to type if you can't get Discord working. Just in-game typing is fine.
I should be good now.
Okay, great. Tell us what we are looking at or for here.
So, both Mantua and I are both single-person teams.
Okay.
Mantua did, of course, the Alfheim, inspired by kind of Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, the Elves, and I'm doing a different literary interpretation of nature. This is Wardlethorpe Warren, which is based off a combination of Graham Oakley's Church Mice books, a little bit of Redwall, and I'm going to forget the name of it now. Watership Down, yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit frazzled from the keybind.
It's okay. It's okay. Not everybody's a professional presenter. So we've got a big log here. What are we looking at?
Yeah. So the idea is nature being incredibly large in the face of what lives inside of it. So people usually think themselves larger than nature, like we saw before with Openbag's interpretation of corporations taking over nature. I wanted an interpretation of nature that made nature larger than the player. And so the entire basis of this is every single portion of this will be dwarfing the player by comparison. So you feel small in the face of nature, like you're a mouse. So the giant log is our road, of course, fallen. There used to be a mountain here, which is why it's so barren now. We spent most of our time tearing down the mountain. And eventually there's going to be enough larger plants and such, so you feel really small in this area, but it's just the road for now.
Okay. It still looks like a fantastic start. And then would you like to go ahead and show us, is this the plaza here with this little house and looks like birch trees or something?
Yeah, so the plaza, because both Mantua and I started from interpretations of nature, we wanted the plaza to kind of unite the two, not really as a balancing act, but as a shared source of inspiration. So the idea with the plaza is that entire middle section is going to be a park with walking trails around it, as you can see the walking trails. And as different people walk on the trails, they lose themselves in nature, and they come to different interpretations of what it is to be in nature, to exist within nature. And so my interpretation of being in nature is that I'm smaller than nature. I am a mouse to a large tree. Mantua's interpretation of nature is nature as a sort of magical thing to be protected, to be guarded.
Okay. Mantua, do you want to add anything about the contrast that you
Yeah,
see
I was-
between your two themes? Because I see a lot of similarities, but I think the opposite elements might be more subtle.
Yes, so they are a bit more subtle, but as Gaia said, and I helped take down an entire mountain and do the all this, whereas Alfheim has been about using what is there. So the road is going up and down instead of to the side, following the terrain. The all the paths that I made in the fenced area were all based on what the terrain looked at the time, and every single terraforming or anything else I've done has been focused on keeping and respecting what is there already. So it's sort of in that way 2 ways of blowing up nature, seeing it, in detail, whereas this is what is here. We got to protect it. We got to guard it as is and hardly change it. So if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's open it up to questions from the judges. Manu, you want to go first this time? Or comments? It doesn't have to be a question.
Well, my only comment is I'd love to be here, like, in a few months when the nature part gets to the vision that they have. I understand. I like that's more intriguing to me. It seems like a lot of work because you're taking things that are normally normal scale and you're scaling them up, which I'm assuming is going to be the whole point, the whole purpose of the other side of this. So yeah, that's about it. I am a little lost. I'm not a very smart person, so I do get a little lost on what the contrast is. But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Brent,
I do want to say
Oh, go on.
I do want to say that ours was less about specific contrast, as in fire and ice, and more balance via differing interpretations of something.
Right. Yeah, no, I get. I mean, I guess I can't say I get that, but I do get it. It's kind of lost on me. But I think Brent is right there, right, Brent?
That's what my question was, is like, what was, you guys did single person builds, this is incredible for solo building. But my question would be, what was you guys as a team, like what was the inspiration for the opposites?
Yeah, I think that's what we're saying is more in the interpretation, how we interpreted nature is the biggest difference. So, like I was saying, mine is geometric, while also on top of what is there, and Gaia is about that zoom in look, making you feel small and really respecting nature in that way. So you could say respecting nature versus protecting nature is another part of ours.
Yeah, both of us had these ideas before this contest was announced, but we really liked how we both had a similar starting point, a midpoint, but we went into kind of 2 completely different directions. So both of us really liked where the other person was going with it, but we didn't quite, we would have never thought of what the other person was doing, which is kind of how it started, how we saw the 2 contrasting interpretations of the thing.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much to Mantua Maker of Alfheim and Gaia Eagle of Wardlethorpe Warren. Let's see, who is your nearest neighbor that we haven't visited yet? If we start flying this way, I see a tower. I don't know if that's a outpost or not. If there's a huge road, I'll know that it is. Doesn't look to be, though. Okay, well then I will just keep flying. I see some sort of spaceship-y things up in the sky over here. Is this somebody's outpost?
I think that's Alpaca. Alpaca, you want to go?
Yes,
Okay.
I can go.
Where
If you
would you
want
like
to
me
get
to
onto
teleport people to?
just get on top of it and you can teleport everybody.
And they won't be mad about being up on top of here.
They'll live.
Okay. They did. What do you know? Okay, so tell me what we're looking at, Alpaca-tastic.
Yes, this is my outpost. I'm calling it the Research and Exploration Expeditionary Fleet, or REEF for short.
Okay.
Basically, the idea that I wanted to implement was based on kind of the initial spark, I guess, was wanting to have like a more decentralized area to
Okay.
where now, because of some of the recent updates with Minecraft and adding things that make it easier to like build up in the sky and things like that, I wanted to just have like a bunch of different builds in the same area that aren't strictly speaking connected to each other, but are still part of the same cohesive whole. Um, so as far as the actual, I guess, story inspiration for why this is here on this server in the Everstorm, is that we've sort of come, from a different world. We're out exploring, and we've come across this planet where there's some kind of, natural disaster going on in the constant rainstorm, and we, we found these people who live down below, which is Desire Fire, and he'll speak to more of that in a minute. But we found these people living in the storm, and we're kind of, we've made first contact, and we're just kind of, working with them and learning more about how they've been weathering the storm, and as we are trying to find a way to end the storm, to end this natural disaster, also, try and make it so that they can still live after the storm is gone. And so, yeah, as far as the actual ships go, I took a lot of inspiration from, aquatic animals to kind of get that initial sketch of what each ship would look like in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main ship here that the parade route is on top of is based on a whale shark.
And the parade route is the red stripe down the center.
Exactly.
Okay. Continue.
And then you can see some of the other ships there in the distance are there's one there that's that one is inspired by a manta ray. It's meant to be like a cargo ship type thing. As far as actual like sci-fi ships, I took inspiration from there is like one was the Canterbury from The Expanse. Also took a little bit of inspiration from the Millennium Falcon with the engines there, but that's meant to be, like I said, kind of like a cargo ship. So I've kind of started working on putting in a cargo hold. And then there is the smaller one. There is a scout ship, which is the first one that I built on the server. It is based on a bowmouth guitarfish, which is it's the shark that looks like a ray. Or a ray that looks like a shark, one of those two. Anyway, but I also took some inspiration from like the Vulcan ships in Star Trek with like the round engine there. And then the larger ship there is based on a sea turtle, and kind of took some inspiration actually from a ship that appeared in Star Trek Discovery Season 3, which is kind of a blink and you miss it type thing, but the whole ship is basically like a giant greenhouse kind of in space. And so that's my plan for that ship, is to make it kind of like a nature preserve, and have the top there be mostly glass, to basically have like a big greenhouse.
Wow, well, this seems like a very time-intensive project.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then there, the plaza there is jellyfish inspired, and the idea with that one is that it's I've been thinking of it as like a universal space dock, to where it's something that the fleet would bring along with it, because as we're exploring different worlds, we might find different types of infrastructure, different types of other ships and things like that, and you never know what's going to be compatible with what, and so that's sort of like our universal connector to be able to just hook up to whatever we find, and so that we can actually dock to it.
Okay, so like you could actually, I'm not navigating well, but you could actually navigate inside the tentacle to move from your ship to the station.
Exactly. And then there's another one going from the station down to the tallest local structure in the area, which is a ruined lighthouse.
Okay, well, why don't we hand it over to who? Can you tell us who made the ruined lighthouse?
Yeah, that would be me, Desire Fire 14, or Dez. So I think the best place for us to kind of view this would most likely be actually from the jellyfish, from the plaza, if you want to teleport people here.
1 second, let me bring your audio up a little bit, Des. Okay.
Oh yeah, here, and I'll also get closer to my
I'm just
mic.
fixing it. Okay, so you want me to bring people into the Jellyfish Plaza to then look
Yes,
down
I
at
think
your
it's the
stuff?
easiest way to look at everything.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So I'll give us kind of a little bit of precursor. I took a little more of a role play standpoint to the storm and this work. So the area below all of Alpaca's ships here, or the reef ships, used to be a mining town. And when the Everstorm started, the mining town may have we may have overmined a little bit, and so our lands collapsed and started falling into the sea. Um, when that happened, we started seeing a bunch of monsters underground, and our mines flooded. It was a little bit bad. So the bay where we are kind of started to become a sinkhole. Our land started to fall into the ocean, but we managed to save our lands from fully going underwater by basically setting up a bunch of seawalls where we could, and realized that we were kind of ruined by our own overmining, maybe, and our lands were muddy at best. So we realized one of the ways to keep the town alive, fed, and, out of the water was to plant crops to hold the sod in place. So we planted possibly genetically modified wheat over our entire muddy silt-based area. We renamed our town to the Silt Basin, and basically preserved our land by planting a lot of things there. And then suddenly, somewhere along the way, once we had fully pretty much adapted to the storm and had figured out how to live in this, a ship came out of the sky and went over and flew over our wheat and dried out a bunch of it, which was a little annoying. I won't lie. As you can see, the whale ship has kind of decimated our crops here. And so one of the things that we've done, even though we have maybe a mildly adversarial relationship with Reef, is realize that maybe we can adapt to the changing times. And if the Everstorm, say, goes away, it's possible that we might see grass again. We realize that our dirt just doesn't hold grass, and so some of the themes in our plaza are about experimenting on the ground that we were based on, and trying to bring the grass and trees back again, because it couldn't seem to keep trees around. It made the animals sick. I mean, look at all those skeleton horses. And
Wait, where are the skeleton horses?
There's a lot of skeleton horses in the wheat. If you look too closely.
Yeah, I might not be able to find any of them quickly.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. There's also there's a bunch there. And the lighthouse was there from previous. It was struck by lightning and got broken a little bit. And we are in the process of converting it into a wheat silo because that's what makes sense for us right now. So we're trying to keep it up with all of the scaffolding and things.
And what did you name this build?
This area is the Silt Basin outpost. And this lighthouse is just the Silt Basin lighthouse. We're a basic people.
Okay, so we've got the reef and the Silt Basin. Brent, do you have any questions or comments about either, both, or the plaza?
Yeah, I mean, would this be a land versus air type opposite? Or
kind of. It's also about two different, I guess, responses to the storm that we've all been living in, because my goal is more like a research and scientific standpoint, is like we need to understand what's happening and try to stop it, whereas Des is like adapting to it and just learning to live with it.
Yeah, that's very cool. I really like kind of what you guys did there with that, like having to, like you said, survive the storm. It's crazy.
Manu, you want to jump in with anything?
Yeah, once again, I'm just surface level dude, right? High, low. I'm digging that. Like, I don't know if that was the intent, but never thought about the idea that, I don't think I've ever seen a lot of structures that are way up high like this. I mean, I'm not a a well-versed Minecraft builder, but can you just get a structure to float in midair?
Well, there's no
For the most part,
gravity for
yeah.
most blocks.
There's no gravity for most blocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can just scaffold up and start building.
Is that a shadow I'm seeing of the whale thing down to the ground, or does it just happen to be what the ground looks like?
So it's basically a manufactured shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the intent, right?
Yeah, that's the intent. So that's one of the respectfully faux conflict I have with Reef is the fact that they parked their freaking ship over my road and dried out my crops. And now I have to figure out, okay, well, this is like almost a microcosm of what it would be like if the storm was gone. How do I really figure out what our area would be like if Reef succeeds in banishing the storm?
Can't bring in irrigation or anything like that.
Well, we're not a smart people.
I mean, I saw conflict. I saw two things: high and low, which is cool, and then I saw conflict, which is in its way kind of cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a really impressive build, or a set of builds. So thank y'all from Reef and the Silt Basin Outpost for sharing with us. Super impressive stuff. If we keep flying, is this next thing here with this color wheel, is that somebody's build for this contest, or is this separate stuff over here?
Joe, the color wheel, this is Kindless, is Stellar's personal base.
Okay.
But the stuff next to it is actually 4 teams.
4 teams. Oh, because you guys I can't create a contest and have people just follow the rules. These are the sorts of people I attract.
I checked very closely. We actually didn't break any rules, and you can feel free to quiz us at length because we got super pedantic to make sure we were following the rules.
Yeah, I am a little bit of a malicious compliance gremlin, and that's the sort of people that I attract apparently to this server. So this is one of those reap what you sow type things. Okay, so what's the best order? Have you guys also figured out behind the scenes what the best order to present these in?
We have, I will go first.
Okay.
You can
Which
teleport
part's
to me. The one you're directly above.
Okay. How many pages of players do we have online? Jeez. Okay, there you are. And then I'll teleport everybody else to you too. So log off if you don't want to be teleported. Okay. Give us the spiel, Kindless.
Okay, so about a year ago, I was finishing up my Skyblock build on the previous server. And I started thinking about what build to do next, and I got all my friends to read a book called The City in the City, which is the most awarded science fiction book in history, actually. And it's a story about 2 cities that are diametrically opposed, like culturally and, economically, yet they occupy the same space. Mm-hmm. And it's about how the citizens choose to just ignore each other and live as 2 fully separate cities, even though their buildings are, side by side. And it takes a while in this book to get into realizing, hey, no, they actually are in the same place.
Okay.
So we started with 4 teams, and one of our teams dropped out. But we decided that of our 4 teams, each team would be opposed to another team directly across, and then the other teams would be rotated 90 degrees, and they'd do their own thing directly across.
Okay.
So this is the city of Ganashville, and it is a city that's dedicated to embracing the future and gentrification and that very I don't want to say post-apocalyptic view, but very dark future view that a lot of movies have, like Blade Runner and the first Mario Brothers movie, where everything is very abruptly and packed together so tightly. So the building you're flying through is actually our storage.
Okay.
And it actually can process every single item in the game and do so very quickly, 250,000 items per hour quickly. And the outside I built apartments into, which members of the server are free to claim and decorate within certain guidelines. So there's a bunch of different apartments with a variety of, decorations. You're looking at Magenta's amazing nonsense right now. But then as we go into the city, we will eventually have our buildings like reaching out and grabbing one another and intermixing. So right now our cities are very separate for the purpose of this contest and the fact that we are still working to get everything spread out.
So
and one of the
I was gonna say, so just to make sure I'm focusing on the right stuff. So it's the Ganashville labeled building and the apartment block next to it, not the stuff over here.
Yeah.
That's all stellar space.
The stuff over there is stellar space. But
okay.
Yeah, this style with the wheat on the roof. And we have like the main roads, which we all walk down, and then like I have another pattern of roads for just being in the city areas that we kind of share and use. But I've also spent a lot of time trying to develop an aesthetic for like, raised platforms and walkways, because those are very popular in movies and totally impractical in real life.
Yeah. So I see you got like a little walkway here.
So these walkways, right? Like they, if I actually had the time to build a ladder up to them, or a walkway up to them, they would be functional. But the ones on the storage building, those ones are functional and terrifying. I have a spiral staircase with 2 radiuses, which is as difficult as you can imagine. And then directly across from me is Stellar's City of Trieste, which is the opposite of mine, where mine is like ruthlessly embracing the future and basically forcing everybody into this gentrification, no matter what, kind of aesthetic.
Okay.
Where you have older buildings suddenly getting some new siding and a new roof, and then they're being sold as a brand new building. So that's, one of the many vibes I was trying to embrace with my city and, push things to the limit so we can eventually achieve balance.
Interesting. Okay, let me grab a link that I need to have queued up before we talk about Trieste. And then, Stellar, are you ready to present?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're all the way across here. How far apart did you guys put these? Is this it back here?
Yes.
Yeah. 2,000, 1,500 blocks, 2,000.
Okay, is this the
city that we're going to build eventually? That's the plaza, so you can come a little further down the road to find the parade route.
Okay, 1 second. I gotta bring your audio up. Don't change anything on your end. Okay, say something again, please.
Something again.
Okay, great. We got you. Okay, so I'm proceeding past the plaza building toward here, and then I'll teleport everybody to where I am now.
At the moment, thankfully, most of my buildings are all clustered in one little space. Because I have so many buildings I want to replicate. And the focus of Trieste is that I'm replicating a bunch of historical buildings from the Italian city of Trieste because of the aspect of that city being there is so much more history in the world than we actually notice if we're not willing to like look for the history.
Very cool.
So I have buildings from the 1700s up to the 1900s. And I have buildings that exemplify like the best architecture of the age. And then terrible historical events as well.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm following where you are in game. 1 second. Let me make sure I'm looking at what you were looking at. Okay, so I am behind you now. So yeah, go ahead.
Couple based on like my design processes because that seems to be an easy way to describe stuff.
Sure.
This big orange one is the first main building I finished designing for Trieste. And it's fun because they didn't want to approve the construction of this building that was designed in before 1926 until the leader of Italy was like in town. He was like, yeah, build that building. And that leader happened to be Mussolini.
Ah. Gotcha.
But there's so many different like little details that you wouldn't notice based on just looking at them. The range from a building built in the 1800s to one built 50 years later in the 1900s. And I can't fully replicate that in Minecraft, but I've tried to notate it at least, that there's this wide range of differences.
Well, and building real buildings in Minecraft is a good way to study the choices that architects make. Even if you can't replicate every single implementation element, you can still better appreciate through your duplication the effort and intention put into their stuff. Also, quick aside, this is not a building designed by Mussolini, who I am not personally a fan of. This is not in any way an endorsement of Mussolini.
No, I don't endorse any of those dictators. But my point is that we have to recognize that we've seen dictatorships and travesty and terrible events throughout history, and it's our job to pay attention to that and not do the same events again.
Fair enough.
I did replicate, well, I signed up for this knowing that I wanted to replicate historical buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out there was a historic, my brain is not letting me remember how to say the word, concentration camp in this town. So I have replicated that as well.
And yeah, for reference, we are not going to judge the reconstruction of the concentration camp within the scale of this contest. While it is important to acknowledge atrocity throughout history and to attempt to understand the situations and circumstances that led to atrocity, that is the sort of thing that people should explore on a personal level and not part of a fun live stream where we fly around neat buildings. So I'm going to post a link here in the chats to the list of Holocaust memorials and museums. If anybody wants to make a personal visit to a site like that on their own or study more, I encourage them to do it. But we are not going to fly through that particular building today. Okay, anything else you want to show off, Spider?
Yes, there is, that's one aspect of the weight of history, but I also want to acknowledge that when we talk about the weight of history, we also have to literally talk about, like, the layers that encompasses history. And if you come down into this little basement area, you actually see, like, the layers of the road that would be in a place like Italy, where they've built upon prehistory and Roman era and medieval era. And it shows how much history there actually is.
Roads built on top of roads. Neat stuff.
And then I have a timeline too, talking about the different empires that have been in control of Trieste over the years.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to show us today?
That's about it. People can explore.
Okay, quick clarification. So is the plaza that you have constructed over here for balancing you and Kindless, or is it a four-way plaza, so we need to visit it after all four teams?
It's two ways.
Okay,
since
so
we're balancing me and Kindless.
Okay, so go ahead and tell us about what you guys are thematically balancing with this structure here.
Since my theme was primarily replicating real buildings to emphasize history, I replicated another real building that exists in Trieste.
Okay.
And then hand it to Kindless to be like, okay, now make it even more brutalist and what's that other word you use, Kay?
Gentrified.
Yeah, gentrified.
Okay.
So, Joe, this plaza, we have a, a prospective spawn location. But we designed the build based on the idea that this is for new players. Like those of us who are already on the server, we know what we're doing. So we looked at the experience, right? You'd spawn in the central area where I'm standing, and directly in front of you is lecterns with eventually books letting people know what's going on. And we've been talking about having welcome kits, which are just shulker boxes to give people a bit of a head start so they don't have to start with like wooden tools while everybody else is running around in netherite.
Sure.
And we have our, and nether portals on either side. And in the center, we have the symbolic, like, first well of the cities. And we're hoping to have the nether, or the end portal put at the very bottom, because you can fall into those now from any level without actually, taking damage. So it's a fun way to do it. We just jump down to the well to get to the end. But we've also included a bunch of armor stand trickery. Like, we now have suspicious sand slabs that we can stand on. And we have cactuses that are, illegally close to one another. And we've also included on the other side an apartment area, a shopping area on the second level, which will just have, starter gear and equipment for people who want random things. Since on this server, we don't really use an economy. We just use social tokens. So players who want stuff can just take what they want and leave behind a named item, basically saying thank you. And levels 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just, apartments the new players can claim immediately, so they have a space for themselves to get set up. And what we've done is we've just left the doors off, so when new players claim them, they can like change the sign and put a door up, and it's theirs.
Very cool.
This space was definitely designed. We spent the time thinking of this space specifically because for our cities, our ideology will eventually be that our cities will be occupying the same space. And this kind of unification of vision actually goes counter to what our cities are trying to accomplish. Because what we're trying to accomplish with unification goes against the idea of we're trying to find balance without, entering some big melting pot and basically ruining our identities. So ideologically, we consider this plaza a failed attempt at unification. Because to build it and make it work, it destroys our unique characteristics.
Manu, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, I absolutely love the example you gave, which was like water and fire as the conflicts is 1000% more simple than all of the contributions here. They are on such high levels of different, you know what I mean? That it's just like it's fascinating to me. Like the idea that the depth at which you guys went into architecture, which I guess is something that's inherent in building in Minecraft, is just stunning to me, right? It's the type of thing I pay museums to teach me and stuff like that. And you guys have already kind of figured out, the contradiction between one living class and another, or one build type or another, or whatever. I'm just floored. It's insane. I'm just floored.
Brent, anything?
Yeah, this is a pretty massive build, I gotta say. Very ambitious, very clean. I've done actual, architectural builds in 3D, in Maya, Autodesk, whatnot. For like, I had to do the Colosseum, and so I know how much of an undertaking that can be to get the proportions and scales and things right, and to do it in Minecraft is pretty cool. It's again, I have measurement tools and grids and things when I do my builds in my software, and this stuff is just, yeah. I just think this is a very ambitious build, and it shows.
I mean, the concept of this is so over my head. I actually get it.
So, do you want to summarize what you get? I'm curious.
I just love the idea when Kindless was saying, that they're opposing ways of living, right? And the idea that, the attempt to live together and then the divide that still happens and all that other stuff. I love it.
I kind of interpreted it as like future versus past. Almost.
Sure.
Yeah, that was how I saw it. Was
Yeah.
You can't fully embrace the future without letting go of the past, but you also can't fully focus on the past while trying to move forward. And so
forward, yeah.
So by trying to meld the two, it breaks each.
We did deliberately decide to focus on a system that was out of balance, right? So our cities, you don't want to really live in Trieste. It seems a little bit too perfectly manufactured and cultivated. You don't want to live in Ganashville because it is like, it's discarding everything to make its own, imprint its own version on things. So it's supposed to be something where you look at it and you're like, I don't really want to live here, even though I know these concepts that both these cities hold dear are really important to a functioning society.
Well, these are fantastic contributions. Do you mind handing me off or us off to whoever is on the opposite parallels here?
Sure. Well, actually, Gritmonger is on the opposite. But if you head to the north, you will see our ghost city, which we threw together over the past week.
Ghost city here?
Yes, directly in front of you. That's the ghost city.
Okay, tell us about that.
So this is Gritmongers you're looking at. Okay, this is Gritmongers you're looking at.
Oh, sorry.
The other direction is the ghost city. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, that is the ghost city there.
Okay.
And that's just layers of carpet, so eventually we can just rip it out and build stuff. But for now, we try to get a hologram look, as if it's like the leftovers.
This is really trippy. Yeah, this is not the sort of thing you would normally see in Minecraft.
Oh, it's great, because if you're level with it, it's virtually invisible. But if you're above it, it looks like actual buildings. So if you're flying overhead, you're like, oh, there's some buildings. And then you land and get close, you're like, wait a second, something's wrong.
Was that word, Moire pattern or something like that? What I'm trying to say.
Moray,
yeah, it's got like a weird moray.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So, inside of here, why does it disappear when you look at it from above? How?
It's the angle, so it's 3 blocks wide of carpet, right? Of different colors. So when you're looking at specific angles, you only see some of the carpet and you lose the color.
You're only seeing the inner edge from above. Wow.
Yes. So that was the aesthetic we were trying to go for like, as you said, you wanted a ghost city. So we made, ghosts that from a distance they seem real, but up close they're insubstantial.
Okay, and yeah, this is not the city is not getting judged, but except as part of whatever it balances against Gritmonger. So I guess we'll go hear from Gritmonger next. But yeah, I was worried the ghost cities would be one of the weakest parts of this, but y'all are really showing up. So that is fantastic.
I hope I don't disappoint them.
Well, I'm excited to see what you got going on here, Grit. You want me to teleport everybody to a certain place?
Yeah, I think there's room enough on the beach here that everybody could land without everyone being on the water.
Okay.
Great. We just want you to know that everyone's counting on you.
Okay, well, I will let you. Won't let you. Oh, what the heck? Where did you teleport to?
You said the beach. Am I at the wrong beach?
Wrong beach.
Yeah. I was at the other beach. Okay.
Is this beach, maybe? Okay.
No, mine's more over this way.
Here, Joe. Kindle is here. I'm at the right location.
Okay, wait. Let me find Kindle. Sorry.
Okay.
That's on me. You're not going to be judged poorly for my bad teleportation abilities. Okay.
Welcome to Chingogu Gambiara. Chingogu Gambiara, sorry. Gambiara is from a Brazilian term, which is effectively pride in making do. So this entire city is based on the idea that you don't have anything pre-manufactured. You don't have anything waiting for you. It's mostly a build of refugees and the poor. So they take pride in building out of whatever is at hand. So the build style is eclectic. You'll see things like repurposed
shipping containers. There eventually is going to be a capsized ship offshore. Everything else is made up of logs or other things that were found and made colorful because people make do with what they find. And if you follow the road this way, where I'm going, you'll see more builds along the way and then towards the road. Now, because this is also kind of an anarcho artist commune, since everybody does what they can when they can with what they have, there is no standardization of, say, health practices or sewage or electricity. So it's catch as catch can. The road, for example, building the road is mostly made up of patchworks of other pieces of asphalt that have been cobbled together to make enough of a serviceable surface that it's the only straight thing in the entire build.
This is really
so. Part of the purpose behind this build was to showcase the idea that when people rely on each other, it's city in service of people instead of people in service of a city, which is what the other builds were. The other build opposite Chindungu Gambiara, or CG, was a traditionalist build, where they were relying on tradition to maintain social order. The other two builds are one that is in service to history and one that is in service to a nebulous future, which is unequal. And so Chindungu stands apart as being essentially not quite every man for himself, but every man helping every man. And so if somebody has something that someone else needs, they hand it over, and they just rely on essentially barter as a system of either trade in labor or material. So everyone comes together for an old Amish barn raising, except the barns are all wonky and cattywampus. So the plaza, on the other hand, is something that is kind of a model of architecture in service to persons. It does have elements of chaos and personal expression, which I'm over here. It's past the railroad tracks. The railroad tracks are thematic and important, especially because I personally live on the wrong side of the tracks in my town, and it limits, for instance, hospital service because there are no major hospitals on my side of the tracks. It limits fire service. The only fire service is volunteer. So essentially, you're left with a community that ends up supporting itself. And that actually leads to a lot of artistic expression in making do. That's the Chindogu part, which is when you have developed skills at making do, you tend to enhance them and use them for silly things and use them for frivolous things. And the sad thing is that a lot of this innovation ends up being both marketed and exploited by folks in larger cities with more means, which is where you see something like graffiti, which is outsider art that is done with the tools at hand. When it's found to be popular, gets repackaged and marketed to wealthy persons and eventually gets excluded from the spaces where it originally was. One of the places where I live on the wrong side of the tracks actually has constant parades of outsider art because trains are one of the last canvases that are essentially unpoliced and are covered in outsider art. So you'll see a few things here in the plaza. The plaza is made to organize some of that so that the plaza itself, instead of enforcing tradition on people, the plaza is an organization that is an homage to tradition in providing a way for people to systematically join the cities, whichever one they choose. So the first, you come into the plaza on the pink arrow, which is an emulation of one of the most hated blocks in Minecraft. And those hated blocks also guide you around the plaza. The first one is essentially a welcome hut where you would pick up basic supplies and basic guidance. The second one is going to be a hut where people can graffiti it with elements of their own builds or their own cities or their own places to settle. So it'll have information on a book that is not saved, so people can put in details about their own builds for people to go see. The third one is essentially extra stuff. So while the first welcome hut has basic supplies, this is for other people to experiment and put in different supply boxes and see what people want and need. And the final one is a place for people to essentially detail if they want to be contacted for new people to get a guided tour of the server. We kind of have always said, at least within the server, that anybody can come give you a tour, but some people really like to do it, and some people like to be available to do it. So we wanted to have a place where people can edit the book and say, hey, come contact me if I'm online, or ping me in the Discord and I'll help you out. So all of that is to try and systematize what otherwise is an informal system, an anarchist system. without exploiting it. And that's essentially my build.
This is fantastic. Very cool stuff, Gritmonger. Brent, do you want to go first on questions and comments this time?
Sure. I just, you know, it was very thought through and very descriptive. Like, I'm impressed with how much, you know, you knew what you wanted to do and you did it. So that's really impressive.
Well, there's a playlist in the Discord for songs that essentially were inspirational to this as well. It's taken cross-culturally and from a bunch of different admixtures, because one of the things that does happen in places like this is a combination of cultures. Rarely do you have one culture supplanting another. They often add in ways that usually ends up getting harvested and exploited by wealthier people.
Could you give an example of one of the songs? Oh, sorry. Could you give an example?
Oh, no, you're good. I was just thinking, I just really like the creativeness and the openness and the welcomingness of allowing other players. You know what I mean? It works.
Mm-hmm. Is there any particular song on that playlist you think embodies that well that people might be familiar with?
Oh man,
are they all really obscure, or is like one of them really
No. They're some of them are pretty popular. Quite a few of them are punk songs. I think there's one by the Dead Kennedys. Mm-hmm. Kill the Poor, but you know, it's not exactly what the song sounds like. It's a mockery of liberal politicians who don't oppose things like exploiting the lower class, etc. So there's a bunch of other ones in there. I'd have to go back and look at it. I thought I posted. Yeah, there it is. There's the playlist. I can open it. So let's see. Modest Mouse, Float On. Devo, Freedom of Choice is a great one for that. I don't know if you ever listened to that particular track from Devo, but Freedom of Choice is pretty cool for this one. Because it speaks to that idea that, well, everyone wants to be like everyone else, right? And you're essentially saying, well, you say you want freedom of choice, but everyone wants freedom from choice. And Chindungo Gambiar is completely the opposite of that. You have no choice but to choose.
Cool. Manu, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just want to really revisit really quick, dumb it down for me, the connection between the Ghost City and the
Ghost City originally was traditionalist, which tradition is innovation, all the stuff going on in CG, but frozen in time when it was okay. And the thing is that the environment changes and everything changes. So sticking to tradition eventually ends up with it being way out of sync with what keeps people alive. And in that case, you have the people servicing the ideas instead of the ideas servicing the people. And that was the ultimate opposite of it.
Okay.
So if you were going to visually argue about that in context of this, you could say that there's a mirage of solidarity, a mirage of continuity in tradition that can't really live up to experience. Is that what you're saying, maybe?
Yeah, and effectively, the Ghost City is dead while real culture always lives and always changes.
Cool.
These are
well,
awful.
being.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, being a dude that grew up in the '70s in New York, yeah, the trains were a wreck for a while.
The thing is that I live in and around people. I've had a friend of mine, his entire family die because of the policies that are in place right now related to rugged individualism and medical care. And I have another friend that is currently in the hospital because of the way the poor, and especially persons who are perceived to be immigrants, are treated. As an example, they're offered cash up front for work, but they're given half the cash until they finish the work. And when they finish the work, the other half is denied. And they, in the meantime, have broken their backs and damaged their bodies. My friend is in her late 30s, but she already has the arthritis of a 60-year-old.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it down, but that's the hopeful message of a place like this, is that people can help each other. And they can come together to do these kind of things. And the sadness is when that is exploited. So
yeah, they can bring their own cultural joy and color to things despite that oppression. And No, it's
I'll,
cool.
Brett, if I may, I'll add that your city also repurposes vacant spaces, which is why we threw a couple of our other city builds nearby, so you could have a chance to repurpose them and demonstrate that. And I know you didn't get an opportunity to do that, but having the vacant ghost city be literally an empty shell of a city, and your city being a slowly assembled and put together community that is evolving into a city is a very strong contrast.
There's a couple other things about the plaza. Is I wanted to keep it human scale, so that a new person coming in doesn't feel intimidated by a giant build, and they also feel like from the way things are, they can immediately contribute. They don't immediately have to just be someone who takes. They can give back right away.
Very cool. Now, if I'm correct here, this was all 9 of our builds, or 10? Was there anybody that was participating that I missed on my list? Super deformed. I did not have that listed. Yeah, okay. So, Super, are you here? And can you tell me where to fly to?
They are unfortunately not here.
Is there somebody who's proxying for them? Can we at least start flying to wherever we're going to go? And I can, knowing nothing, improvise a pitch for the build based on what I'm seeing in front of me. If they don't have
they're south of Mantua Maker's build.
Saw the Mantua Maker. Yeah, there are no coords in Discord. So that would be...
Yeah.
I can riptide to it. I know where it is.
Yeah, that would be helpful, because I think I'm going roughly in the right direction.
More left.
Okay. Yeah, I should have made it more explicit that, if you cannot attend, please have someone proxy. Oh, boy. Oh, I should not have volunteered to improvise what this build is. Okay. Let me read what he wrote in his original contest submission then. Is this the Outpost Heaven and Hell? Yeah.
Yes.
So, the tagline provided was, "The Nether and End dimensions come together to form a sustainable community in the overworld, with block apartments reminiscent of the Soviet Union and modern-day China. The Outpost will be a self-contained gated community." Okay. Well, I suppose that, what I just read from him is, in fact, true. Superstone says, can we have a teleport, please? Yes. /TP at a... Whoops. Okay, so we have materials from the End dimension in Minecraft. And some dragon heads. I'm not sure what exactly I'm supposed to be looking at in terms of... like, if he has got certain detailed areas. But, yeah, this looks more unfinished than finished. It's a very promising start, though. And, look up. Oh, is there like a helicarrier up here? What is this?
That is a rain shield.
Oh, okay. So, fair enough. Yeah, so I don't exactly know... yeah, what to present here. Yeah, Des says this one may have been withdrawn. Okay, yeah.
I think it may have been withdrawn because I'm looking, and I don't think Super Deformed is on our server anymore, so...
Okay, so this one... I didn't see a withdrawal, but yeah, I was gonna say, this looks like somebody did not intend to submit this. It's very early, but either way, if Superformed does rejoin the server at some point, this will be here for probably at least a year or to 18 months. We don't know exactly how long each season's going to be, but they're usually 15 to 24 months. So there's going to be plenty of time to revisit this as desired. Okay. So, what I need to do now is I need to hop into a call with the judges using a different computer so the audio from that call does not go out through this computer. I am going to fly up a little bit higher here so we can see many of the builds all at once, and I might be teleporting around. Well, actually, wait. No, I'm not going to be able to revisit builds on the call with the judges. Okay. Yeah, core concept, the stream is going to go dead quiet while we're judging, because I'm realizing I'm going to just have to do this on this computer with muted audio from me and the judges. So let me put up a sign that says no audio judging now, and then we will get that going. No audio. No, I should spell correctly. No audio?
I could do this for you.
Thank you. I did not realize how fried my brain was until I tried to type literally anything. Okay, so we are going to hit that, and let me fly somewhere that there's more thematic rain and less... there we go. This is the Everstorm server after all. Okay, so we have no audio judging now. I will drag the judges into another voice chat so that we can continue our conversation, and we will be back to you. Make sure, if you haven't already figured out what your top 3 choices are for your months, that you have those ready before we call on you, because that is what we're doing, is we are awarding parade months for hosting events in the future. That is the prize for this. I am realizing my Discord has way too many things. Oh, boy. 1 second. Dragging the judges. Once I make Discord absolutely tiny, there's not enough room here. We've got like 500 channels in this Discord. And so trying to move people requires closing a lot of things or marking a lot of things as red. We are killing the audio and Okay. Test, test, test. I am back. Okay. I'm not sure how long the audio has been out, but we can take down that no audio judging now sign. Just as a reminder, if anybody who has been watching this wants to join the Patreon, you can do that via patreon.com/joehills. $5 a month gets you access to the Discord. $10 a month gets you access to the Minecraft servers. Everybody who's competing in this is part of the Patreon. As OpenBag2 points out, but do it tomorrow, because you get billed the day you sign up and then the 1st of every month. And today is the 28th. So sign up tomorrow if you want to come hang out and have fun. Okay. We are ready to go. Y'all, this was a challenge. I don't know exactly how long we spent judging, but I feel like it was probably about 30, 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Okay. We took this super seriously. And, can I put the game back up in the Discord? Yes, I will share the screen, Minecraft in the Discord. Great. So, yeah, we're taking this super seriously. This was really hard to judge because there are so many factors that go into both making a good build and a good pair. We are going to announce these. Now, the awkward thing is we need to announce the winners from the bottom up, and then we need to go from the top back down to award the prizes, since the prizes is getting to pick what month you want to have your parade and what holiday you want to have it for. So, we are going to say that in 11th place, Heaven and Hell, it might have been withdrawn, we don't know, but it looked unfinished enough that we really couldn't rank it against the other competitors. So that was it was an easy choice because we knew that wasn't really finished. However, everything beyond this point was a challenge. 30 minutes of nonstop debate. I actually kept everybody on task. This was a really big challenge. So I want to say there's no, at this point, everybody's an honorable mention. If you got 10th, you still did exceptionally well. These are all fantastic builds. But yeah, in 10th place was Wardlethorpe Warren. I don't want to editorialize too much because I know we've been going for a long time and we need to get people out of here. But I do want to say, if that build had been more complete, it might have done better. The log was a fantastic start, and I cannot wait to see how that develops over the course of the season. But just a little bit sparse. But still a beautiful, beautiful start. So in 10th place was Wardlethorpe Warren. In 9th place was Ganashville. Am I reading this wrong? Yes. 9th place was Ganashville. 8th place was The Great Scale. In 7th place was Flagship Mercantile. In 6th place was Trieste. In 5th place was Shroomy Hollow. There it is. In 4th place was the Silt Basin Outpost. And wow, I've been speeding through these because I know we are going to have to go back down the list to get the prizes awarded. But yeah. So in 3rd, this one had a lot of heart. Chindogu Gambiara. In 2nd, above the Silt Basin Outpost, was The Reef. And in 1st, where is it? I don't know where it is on the ground. I'm all lost now. I thought I had it. In 1st place was Alfheim, which I, for some reason, cannot find on the map now. There it is, all the way over there. So, congratulations, everybody. Y'all do not make it easy for us to judge these. These were all fantastic builds, and each one is only going to get developed further over the course of the next year or more, probably more, that this server is going to be running for. Now, once again, the prize for each builder is getting to pick what month they want to host a parade holiday event in. So, Mantua Maker of Alfheim, what month and parade do you want?
January. The third is Tolkien's birthday.
Ooh, a Tolkien parade. Okay, that sounds awesome. And we will get an exact date for that. We'll usually put these on a weekend as close as possible to there. But January 3rd is the rough target for Tolkien's birthday parade. Okay, the Reef. Do you have a representative with a request?
Yes, I would like June 8th for World Ocean Day.
June 8th for World Ocean Day. Very cool. Gritmonger of Chindogu Gambiara, do you have a request ready?
Yeah, May 5th is the actual Workers' Day. There's also in May, there's Maker's Week, which is a celebration of individual people that make things. It's the crafting revolution and individual manufacturing.
So, so if I was going to announce this later.
Workers' Day. That's fine.
Workers' Day. Okay, awesome. I really hope that everybody's stuck around so we can knock this out. Silt Basin Outpost.
Going for Labor Day, September.
September, Labor Day. Okay. Ooh, I can type. Shroomy Hollow.
We're gonna go with October, Halloween.
Ooh, good one. Okay, Trieste.
We are going to celebrate November, the Science Fiction Festival that's celebrated every year there.
Science Fiction Festival. Okay, excellent. That sounds fun. Flagship Mercantile. What do you guys got?
We're going to go with March. I'll give you the exact date later today. A lot of that will depend on whether we're going to do a parade this month or whether we're just doing the spawn.
Well, if you guys pick March, it would be in like a few weeks.
Right. Okay. I will give you the exact date later today. I just need to check some calendars.
Okay. And just to warn you, because of spring break and my kids' school schedule, it might not be exactly on the weekend you request since this short notice, or But yeah, we'll get it as close as possible. Do you have a rough concept?
We're gonna blend a few holidays.
Okay.
So Purim is one of them. The other is International Jewel Day, and the final one is Near Miss Day, celebrating the day an asteroid did not hit the Earth in 1988.
Okay, Purim, Near Miss Day, and what was the other one? Jewel Day? Jewel
Day.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that, but I can do some research before the event. Awesome. So after Flagship Mercantile, we had the Great Scale. Is Swanee still here?
I'm still here, just about, still alive. Did someone already claim June and May?
June and May are both claimed. What was your third choice?
August was on the list.
August has not been taken. What would you like to celebrate in August?
I can't remember what I put on the list.
Well, we'll come back to it. It's fine. I know people have been here for 3 hours and want to go. Kindleus in Nashville, what did you want month-wise?
February, Joe.
February, okay. And?
Groundhog Day, obviously.
That's what I was expecting. Okay, Groundhog Day. And Wardlethorpe Warren?
What's left, can I ask?
Sure. Let's see. We've got January, February, March. So April is open. April and July and December.
I'll take December.
Okay. And there wasn't a representative. Super Deformed wasn't here. So if Heaven and Hell reactivates, they'll get to choose between the 2 remaining months. But it sounds like that's... we don't know. So, okay. So once again, in first place, we have Alfheim with the Tolkien Parade in January, followed by Reef in June with World Oceans Day, Chindogu Gambiara with May Workers' Day, Silt Basin Outpost with September Labor Day, Shroomy Hollow with October Halloween, Trieste November Science Fiction Festival, Flagship Mercantile with March for Purim Near Miss Day and Jewel Day, Great Scale in August with TBD Day, Nashville with February for Groundhog Day, and Wardlethorpe Warren. What did you want to celebrate in December? I forgot to ask.
The anniversary of the EPA being founded.
EPA founding anniversary. Okay. Fantastic stuff. Thank y'all, everyone, so much. I really want to say thank you again to both of our judges. Once again, you can find Brent M. Bowen and his fantastic and hilarious wife, Pepper, at twitch.tv/homegrownbdub, and Manu Smith at twitch.tv/MPT3K. Brent and Manu, any final words you want to share with everybody?
Thanks for another difficult judge session.
Yeah, this one was very difficult. It was hard. We really considered all of your time and creativeness, and you guys didn't make it easy on us at all.
No, this was a real challenge. It's so fantastic seeing so many creative ideas brought to light. And, you know, I was talking to Brent before the show. Pepper sent her regrets about not being able to make it. We're going to try and bring Pepper back for one of the upcoming Parade Float build contests, as well as Brent. And hopefully we'll get Manu in the mix at some point, too. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. We really appreciated you taking time out of your Saturdays to be here.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Always a good
You
time.
got it, buddy. Thank you for all the support you give, too, Joe. It's amazing. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Awesome. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap up here before people start falling asleep at their keyboards. Like, I think Swanee has an English accent. It can't be early over there. So, until next time,
It is
y'all.
10:30.
Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. Yeah, you're good.
It
Oh,
has,
yeah, what's
it is
balance
when
on the
you wake
server
up
gonna...
at 4.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We need to bring balance to the server. The storm has ended through y'all's creativity, and we need to set the world spawn at Alfheim's Plaza, which I can totally find like a professional Minecrafter here. Oh, boy. Cool Lava Bucket says that's surprisingly cursed. Yeah, just once again, for anybody who's tuning in, they have had a nonstop storm for... what was it, 3 months now? So we are going to set the world spawn here. /set world spawn. Let me do my game mode to creative first so that I'm, yeah. Set world spawn tilde. Dang it, that's not a tilde. How am I so bad at this? There we go. So the
Joe,
world spawn
do you want me to do it? I can do
me,
it.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This keyboard doesn't like have a tilde button. I've got to hit like function shift, and then if I do it wrong, it hits escape. It's yeah. Okay. So everybody needs to let me know where they're gonna want their portals. Post the coordinates in the town registration chat, and I'll get those portals in as soon as I can. But yeah, that is that. So we're gonna wrap up the stream. Until next time, y'all. This is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventure. Oh my gosh, I'm too tired to say my own outro. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep